What the hand does the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must provide him with an environment which will enable him to develop freely. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own natural desire to learn. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing him for school, but for life. Peace is what every human being is craving for, and it can be brought about by humanity through the child. Imagination does not become great until human beings, given the courage and the strength, use it to create. The first essential for the child's development is concentration. The child who concentrates is immensely happy. The greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say, "The children are now working as if I did not exist." The most important period of life is not the age of university studies, but the first one, the period from birth to the age of 6. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are part of the universe and are connected with each other to form one whole unity. Joy, feeling one's own value, being appreciated and loved by others, feeling useful and capable of production, are all factors of enormous value for the human soul. What we need is a world full of miracles, like the miracle of seeing the young child seeking work and independence, and manifesting a wealth of enthusiasm and love. Our aim is not merely to make the child understand, and still less to force him to memorize, but so to touch his imagination as to enthuse him to his innermost core. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do it, and do not say a word. If you tell them, they will watch your lips move. If you show them, they will want to do it themselves. The child who has felt a strong love for his surroundings, and for all living creatures, who has discovered joy and enthusiasm in work, gives us reason to hope that humanity can develop in a new direction. It is necessary for the teacher to guide the child without letting him feel her presence too much, so that she may always be ready to supply the desired help, but may never be the obstacle between the child and his experience. The essence of independence is to be able to do something for oneself. Adults work to finish a task, but the child works in order to grow and is working to create the adult, the person that is to be. Such experience is not just play. It is work he must do in order to grow up. There is a great sense of community within the Montessori classroom, where children of differing ages work together in an atmosphere of cooperation rather than competitiveness. There is respect for the environment and for the individuals within it, which comes through experience of freedom within the community. Let the children be free. Encourage them. Let them run outside when it is raining. Let them remove their shoes when they find a puddle of water, and when the grass of the meadows is wet with dew, let them run on it and trample it with their bare feet. Let them rest peacefully when a tree invites them to sleep beneath its shade. Let them shout and laugh when the sun wakes them in the morning. What the hand does the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must provide him with an environment which will enable him to develop freely. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own natural desire to learn. The education of even a small child, therefore, being a fool for God, was not merely all right but liberating. I had no knowledge of divine help, and all the world lost faith in gradual progress. No one who had once learned to identify happiness with wealth ever felt that he had wealth enough. See yourself in the mirror, you're separate from yourself. See the world in the mirror, you're separate from the world. I don't want that separation anymore. I suppose it's unfair, tricks of argument that leave wounds, but with this sort of thing that C.S. Lewis does, what I feel is a craftsman's joy at the sight of a superior performance. Anyone who studies our poisonous drugs, our denatured food, our death-trap automobiles and houses, our lung-rotting cities, must concede that we accept a good deal of murder as inevitable simply because it is done to make or save money. Many Christians, though keenly sensitive to the dangers of greed and discontent that come with an economy of continually increasing consumption, nevertheless feel that it is worth risking if only it can end man's physical miseries. The trouble is that it can't. In a finite world, continually increasing consumption is just not possible. Can we reasonably expect happiness from an insatiable appetite which, no matter how it stuffs its belly, is still psychologically like Oliver Twist in the poorhouse, holding up an empty bowl and begging, "I want some more"? Isn't it possible that our dream of the good society contained, from the beginning, a hidden violation of the 10th commandment, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods"? What the hand does the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must provide him with an environment which will enable him to develop freely. You can make anything by writing. No one ever told me that grief felt so like fear. Eating and reading are two pleasures that combine admirably. There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. Someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. I can't imagine a man really enjoying a book and reading it only once. You can never get a cup of tea large enough or a book long enough to suit me. God can't give us peace and happiness apart from himself, because there is no such thing. To be a Christian means to forgive the inexcusable, because God has forgiven the inexcusable in you. A children's story that can only be enjoyed by children is not a good children's story in the slightest. I have learned now that while those who speak about one's miseries usually hurt, those who keep silence hurt more. The Christian does not think God will love us because we are good, but that God will make us good because he loves us. Love is not affectionate feeling, but a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate good as far as it can be obtained. Friendship is born at the moment when one man says to another, "What, you too? I thought that no one but myself." We are not necessarily doubting that God will do the best for us. We are wondering how painful the best will turn out to be. It is a good rule after reading a new book never to allow yourself another new one till you have read an old one in between. I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else. Crying is all right in its way while it lasts, but you have to stop sooner or later, and then you still have to decide what to do. Atheism turns out to be too simple. If the whole universe has no meaning, we should never have found out that it has no meaning. I'm on Aslan's side, even if there isn't any Aslan to lead it. I'm going to live as like a Narnian as I can, even if there isn't any Narnia. No book is really worth reading at the age of 10, which is not equally, and often far more, worth reading at the age of 50 and beyond. If we find ourselves with a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that we were made for another world. Friendship is unnecessary, like philosophy, like art. It has no survival value, rather it is one of those things which give value to survival. A man can no more diminish God's glory by refusing to worship him than a lunatic can put out the sun by scribbling the word darkness on the walls of his cell. Pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. Mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain, but it is more common and also more hard to bear. The frequent attempt to conceal mental pain increases the burden. It is easier to say, "My tooth is aching," than to say, "My heart is broken." It would seem that our Lord finds our desires not too strong, but too weak. We are half-hearted creatures, fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered us, like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. We are far too easily pleased. To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully round with hobbies and little luxuries. Avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. To love is to be vulnerable. Imagine yourself as a living house. God comes in to rebuild that house. At first, perhaps, you can understand what he is doing. He is getting the drains right and stopping the leaks in the roof and so on. You knew that those jobs needed doing, and so you are not surprised. But presently he starts knocking the house about in a way that hurts abominably and does not seem to make any sense. What on earth is he up to? The explanation is that he is building quite a different house from the one you thought of, throwing out a new wing here, putting on an extra floor there, running up towers, making courtyards. You thought you were being made into a decent little cottage, but he is building a palace. He intends to come and live in it himself. What the hand does, the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must provide him with an environment which will enable him to develop freely. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own natural desire to learn. The education of even a small child. Peace begins with a smile. To mind one's own business. To choose always the hardest. The fruit of service is peace. Never to stand on one's dignity. Live simply so others may simply live. To speak as little as possible of oneself. Not to want to manage other people's affairs. To be kind and gentle, even under provocation. These are the few ways we can practice humility. To accept being slighted, forgotten and disliked. To accept contradictions and correction cheerfully. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. Never travel faster than your guardian angel can fly. Do not wait for leaders, do it alone, person to person. It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. God doesn't require us to succeed, He only requires that you try. What can you do to promote world peace? Go home and love your family. The most terrible poverty is loneliness and the feeling of being unloved. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not yet come, we have only today, let us begin. The hunger for love is much more difficult to remove than the hunger for bread. If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. I can do things you cannot, you can do things I cannot, together we can do great things. I'm a little pencil in the hand of a writing God, who is sending a love letter to the world. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. Every time you smile at someone, it is an action of love, a gift to that person, a beautiful thing. If you are humble, nothing will touch you, neither praise nor disgrace, because you know what you are. We will be judged by, I was hungry and you gave me something to eat, I was naked and you clothed me, I was homeless and you took me in. At the end of life, we will not be judged by how many diplomas we have received, how much money we have made, how many great things we have done. Prayer is not asking. Prayer is putting oneself in the hands of God at His disposition and listening to His voice in the depth of our hearts. We know only too well that what we are doing is nothing more than a drop in the ocean. But if the drop were not there, the ocean would be missing something. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile. Do not think that love in order to be genuine has to be extraordinary. What we need is to love without getting tired. Be faithful in small things because it is in them that your strength lies. A sacrifice to be real must cost, must hurt, and must empty ourselves. Give yourself fully to God. He will use you to accomplish great things on the condition that you believe much more in His love than in your weakness. I am not sure exactly what heaven will be like, but I know that when we die and it comes time for God to judge us, He will not ask, "How many good things have you done in your life?" Rather, He will ask, "How much love did you put into what you did?" God made the world for the delight of human beings. If we could see His goodness everywhere, His concern for us, His awareness of our needs, the phone call we've waited for, the ride we are offered, the letter in the mail, just the little things He does for us throughout the day. As we remember and notice His love for us, we just begin to fall in love with Him because He is so busy with us you just can't resist Him. I believe there's no such thing as luck in life. It's God's love, it's His. The greatest disease in the West today is not TB or leprosy. It is being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for. We can cure physical diseases with medicine, but the only cure for loneliness, despair, and hopelessness is love. There are many in the world who are dying for a piece of bread, but there are many more dying for a little love. The poverty in the West is a different kind of poverty. It is not only a poverty of loneliness, but also of spirituality. There's a hunger for love, as there is a hunger for God. What the hand does, the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must provide him with an environment which will enable him to develop freely. The goal of first you imitate, then you innovate. Do not fear mistakes, there are none. In improvisation, there are no mistakes. Always listen for what you can leave out. Music is the framework around the silence. It takes a long time to sound like yourself. Knowledge is freedom and ignorance is slavery. My future starts when I wake up every morning. In music, silence is more important than sound. Don't play what's there, play what's not there. If you understood everything I say, you'd be me. If you're not nervous, then you're not paying attention. It's not the notes you play, it's the notes you don't play. Don't worry about playing a lot of notes, just find one pretty one. A painting is music you can see, and music is a painting you can hear. You have to know 400 notes that you can play, then pick the right 4. Someday I'm gonna call me up on the phone, so when I answer, I can tell myself to shut up. If you hit a wrong note, it's the next note that you play that determines if it's good or bad. If somebody told me I only had an hour to live, I'd spend it choking a white man. I'd do it nice and slow. Anybody can play. The note is only 20%. The attitude of the mother of who plays it is 80%. It's not about standing still and becoming safe. If anybody wants to keep creating, they have to be about change. It's not the note you play that's the wrong note. It's the note you play afterwards that makes it right or wrong. If you sacrifice your art because of some woman or some man, or for some color or for some wealth, you can't be trusted. I'm always thinking about creating. My future starts when I wake up every morning. Every day I find something creative to do with my life. In other words, an instrument should be an extension of you. It's supposed to sound like you, the way you walk, the way you dress, you know. See, if you put a musician in a place where he has to do something different from what he does all the time, then he can do that, but he's got to think differently in order to do it. He's got to play above what he knows, far above it. I've always told the musicians in my band to play what they know and then play above that. Because then anything can happen, and that's where great art and music happens. What the hand does, the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must provide him with an environment which will enable him to develop freely. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own natural desire to learn. The education of even a small child, therefore, the church says that the earth is flat, but I know that it is round. For I have seen the shadow of the earth on the moon, and I have more faith in the shadow than in the church. The sea is dangerous, and its storms terrible, but these obstacles have never been sufficient reason to remain ashore. Unlike the mediocre, intrepid spirits seek victory over those things that seem impossible. It is with an iron will that they embark on the most daring of all endeavors. to meet the shadowy future without fear and conquer the unknown. What the hand does, the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must provide him with an environment which will enable him to develop freely. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate. Music is a safe kind of high. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Heaven's sake, live for yourself. Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. Don't waste your time, bad things. Blues is easy to play, but hard to feel. Knowledge is speaking, wisdom is listening. With the power of soul, anything is possible. Don't waste your time thinking about bad things. You have to go on and be crazy. Craziness is like heaven. May the dreams of your past be the reality of your future. I've been imitated so well I've heard people copy my mistakes. Before you start pointing fingers, make sure your hands are clean. Technically, I'm not a guitar player. All I play is truth and emotion. Don't use your brain to play it. Let your feelings guide your fingers. In order to change the world, you have to get your head together first. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Anybody can do anything, it's up to themselves. All it takes is the right intentions. I'm the one that's got to die when it's time for me to die, so let me live my life the way I want to. May I love you away from the evils of today to the dreams of tomorrow. You know heaven has no sorrow. Music doesn't lie. If there is something to be changed in this world, then it can only happen through music. This is your life. You must die by yourself, so for heaven's sake, live for yourself and no one else. I don't have nothing to regret at all in the past, except that I might have unintentionally hurt somebody else or something. A lot of PPL are making more money than they ever had nowadays, so when they get their flat they always find themselves with an extra room. Happiness is within you, so unlock the chains from your heart and let yourself grow like the sweet flower you are. I know the answer, just spread your wings and set yourself free. I feel guilty when people say I'm the greatest on the scene. What's good or bad doesn't matter to me. What does matter is feeling and not feeling. If only people would take more of a true view and think in terms of feelings. Your name doesn't mean a damn, it's your talents and feelings that matter. You've got to know much more than just the technicalities of notes. You've got to know what goes between the notes. What the hand does, the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must provide him with an environment which will enable him to develop freely. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own natural desire to learn. Give me 26 soldiers of lead, and I will conquer the world. It is a press, certainly, but a press from which shall flow in inexhaustible streams through it. God will spread his word. A spring of truth shall flow from it. Like a new star it shall scatter the darkness of ignorance, and cause a light heretofore unknown to shine amongst men. Gutenberg 140. What the hand does the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must provide him with an environment which will enable him to develop freely. Let no man pull you so low as to hate him. There comes a time when silence is betrayal. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. A man who won't die for something is not fit to live. Never forget that everything Hitler did in Germany was legal. We must live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Forgiveness is not an occasional act, it is a constant attitude. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. I have decided to stick to love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Faith is taking the first step, even when you can't see the whole staircase. No one really knows why they are alive until they know what they die for. But I know somehow that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. I have a dream that one day little black boys and girls will be holding hands with little white boys and girls. We must come to see that the end we seek is a society at peace with itself, a society that can live with its conscience. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but he must take it because conscience tells him it is right. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Those who are not looking for happiness are the most likely to find it, because those who are searching forget that the surest way to be happy is to seek happiness for others. Science investigates, religion interprets. Science gives man knowledge, which is power. Religion gives man wisdom, which is control. Science deals mainly with facts. Religion deals mainly with values. The two are not rivals. Everybody can be great, because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. As my sufferings mounted, I soon realized that there were 2 ways in which I could respond to my situation, either to react with bitterness or seek to transform the suffering into a creative force. I decided to follow the latter course. If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as a Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, "Here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well." Now there is a final reason I think that Jesus says, "Love your enemies." It is this, that love has within it a redemptive power, and there is a power there that eventually transforms individuals. Just keep being friendly to that person. Just keep loving them, and they can't stand it too long. Oh, they react in many ways in the beginning. They react with guilt feelings, and sometimes they'll hate you a little more at that transition period, but just keep loving them. And by the power of your love, they will break down under the load. That's love, you see. It is redemptive, and this is why Jesus says love. There's something about love that builds up and is creative. There is something about hate that tears down and is destructive. So love your enemies. From loving your enemies. What the hand does, the mind remembers. The child is both a hope and a promise for mankind. Do not tell them how to do it, show them how to do. We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies. These words reveal the child's inner needs. Help me to do it alone. Free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing. The goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own. The senses, being the explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. The adult works to improve his environment, while the child works to improve himself. To assist a child, we must. Happiness is a state of mind. Adults are only kids grown up. If you can dream it, you can do it. Progress is impossible without change. Just make sure you never do less than your best. Walt Disney quote, "Happiness is a state of mind." There is no magic in magic, it's all in the details. Always fight for quality, whether giving or receiving. Let your heart guide you, it whispers, so listen closely. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Believe in your dreams, no matter how impossible they seem. The difference in winning and losing is most often not quitting. That's the real trouble with the world. Too many people grow up. Everyone falls down. Getting back up is how you learn how to walk. All your dreams can come true if you have the courage to pursue them. Laughter is timeless, imagination has no age, and dreams are forever. If you can visualize it, if you can dream it, there's some way to do it. Many of the things that seem impossible now will become realities tomorrow. The flower that blooms in adversity is the rarest and most beautiful of all. All the adversity I've had in my life, all my troubles and obstacles have strengthened me. That's what we storytellers do. We restore order with imagination. We instill hope again and again and again. If you can dream it, you can do it. Always remember that this whole thing was started with a dream and a mouse. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. The sky has never been the limit. We are our own limits. It's then about breaking our personal limits and outgrowing ourselves to live our best lives. Whatever you do, do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it, they will want to come back and see you do it again, and they will want to bring others and show them how well you do what you do.